Cooking with Class, the Mobile County Public School cooking show. I'm Suzanne Yates, the CNP Food Service Director for the Child Nutrition Program and your host today. Today I have Rose Dossett with me as my special guest. She is the manager for the Forest Hill Elementary School cafeteria. Welcome, Rose.
Thank you.
Today we're going to be talking about turkeys for the holidays. What a better thing to have than turkeys. Yum.
It's that time of the year.
Okay. Well, I understand you really know how to cook a turkey.
Yes. My husband and I started many years ago, and we professionally barbecue and judge for a hobby.
Oh, wow.
So smoking turkeys is part of our game.
And I understand that you've actually smoked turkeys for the children at school for the holiday meals. That's what you've done in the years past.
I have.
And if I could tell you, they are delicious. So tell us a little bit about the types of seasonings you do, and then we'll talk a little bit about like how to select a turkey, whether it's got bones or no bones, and what we have in our schools, that type of thing.
Okay. We have our USDA sends us commodity turkeys normally every year. Sometimes they are normal bone-in turkeys, and sometimes we get turkey roast. These are really wonderful because they're a whole turkey, boneless.
That's been deboned and it's just ready to, it's all meat.
Exactly. It has both dark and light meat. So you get a well-rounded, but you also have no waste.
Okay, well that's good.
And you have an exact amount where normally with a bone turkey you have to make extra allowances weight-wise. This you do not. You have an exact weight.
Because I know with boned-in turkeys, you probably have to plan about a pound per person. So if you're having 12 people, you need to have a 12-pound turkey to make sure that you have enough.
Exactly.
Whereas if you have a boneless turkey, I would presume there's probably a little bit of, you have to have a little bit just because of the water loss, that type of thing. But if you're having 12 people and you need to serve about 4 or 5 ounces per serving, you probably only need like say a 5 to 6 pound turkey roll.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, this is really interesting how they do these for us.
And like I said, it is a wonderful, wonderful tool that they send us, and it makes our jobs a lot easier when you're feeding the masses. You are certain that a child gets a proper amount of food.
That's right. And what's a good way to defrost these turkeys? Because I know we don't want to just leave it sitting out here like we have now, because we just took this out of the freezer.
Exactly.
So we need to make sure that we defrost it properly.
We normally pull our turkeys an average of a minimum of 3 days, most of the time 5 days. We tend to serve on Thursdays as our Thanksgiving meals. So we will normally pull them out of the freezer no later than Monday morning.
Okay.
It takes at least 3 days. Now our coolers are kept at a constant 32. Your refrigerators at home vary, but even at home you need to thaw a turkey a minimum of 2 to 3 days.
Right, because it takes so long, I guess, to get all the way thawed out to the very inside. Whether it has bones or no bones, it still takes a long time for it to thaw out. Very hard to thaw out. But you can also, if at the last minute, say if you have your bone-in turkey or the turkey roll, you can cook, thaw it out in running water, and that's like to put the turkey in the sink, but you need to change that water out about every 30 minutes to make sure that the water does not get too hot, because poultry is a very sensitive type of meat. You want to make sure that it's prepared properly so you don't have any kind of contamination, salmonella buildup or bacteria buildup. Tell us a little bit about your seasoning. Once we get all this defrosted, the best part is to season.
Yes. After we get finished and your bird is completely thawed, then you can start with your seasoning. At home, you have a wide open range. Some people use injections, some people use rubs. At school, we're kind of limited these days with salts and what have you. We tend to use basics, garlic, onions. We do have a salt-free all seasoning.
Okay.
We also use things that are fresh. Fresh onions, fresh bell peppers. We'll lay them around on the top. One little tool I have found that's great is our little juices. I just take them and pour them over the top, and they keep our turkeys, or chickens too for that matter, because we have done it with those, but they keep them from drying out.
And I bet you it adds a little bit of extra flavor to it, just with the flavor of the actual juice. Now, is it just apple juice or any other kind of juices?
No, we have used apple, and we have used orange.
Oh, okay.
And we found that orange juice works very well on our hams.
Ooh, I bet you that would be delicious.
We also get commodity pork roast occasionally, and the orange juice works real well on it.
Okay.
So we work with what we have.
Okay,
And
well, that's good.
we do spruce it up, and it's not just
Because I know one of the things is we do get commodities from USDA, which they actually ship us these foods that they're basically free, but we just pay for the shipping of it. And that's how it helps to cut down on some of the costs that we have in our cafeterias.
Exactly.
And we always request to have the boneless turkey roast rather than the bone-in turkeys because of just the waste and the ease of trying to prepare it and cut it for the number of students that we actually do. Now, one question at home, I'll have like a bone-in turkey. Should I take and pass that seasoning? You can tell I'm from Louisiana. Now I'm passing that seasoning, topping it with my hands underneath the skin. Does that help or does that hurt?
seasoning is subjective to taste.
Okay.
You are from Louisiana and you do tend to go heavier.
Mm-hmm.
It is, like I said, it's very subjective to taste. When I'm judging a contest, I like to be able to identify the meat that I'm eating, whether it be poultry, beef, or pork.
Okay.
So you have to keep various things in mind. It's like a lot of people love the injections. I tend to lean away from those because most of the time they're very heavy in sodium.
All right.
So I have an arrangement of various spices here.
What kind of spices you have here?
They go from maple flavored to pecan flavored, brisket rub, pig rub. They're unlimited.
All the different.
They are strictly unlimited. So I always advise people to test different things. Mm-hmm. Test it, try it, do it to your liking. Mm-hmm. It's your turkey.
Do you usually just put the rub on the turkey and then stick it in the oven, or should you actually take and season it, let it sit for a while in the refrigerator and then cook it?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It really doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
When we're frying a turkey, we don't actually put a rub on it until after it's fried.
Oh, okay. Then you sprinkle something on it at that point.
Because up until that point, once you place it in the hot oil, all your seasoning's gone floating.
Okay. That makes sense there. Okay, I'm learning a lot about turkeys. Okay. Now tell us about cooking times. How do you decide how long you need to cook something and at what temperatures and that type of thing?
Always keep a thermometer.
Okay.
Poultry, as you said, is a dangerous meat. It needs to be internally 165 degrees.
Okay.
There is no way for anyone to know that by looking at a piece of meat. You have to be able to take a temperature.
Okay.
And everyone should own one.
And they're not really that expensive. I've seen them in the store for as little as $2 to, you can go up to $30, $40 if you want to get something really expensive and fancy. But they have all different types. They have some that are digital, which are very nice. They read real quickly. We have just the dial kind. But one of the things is, which we'll talk about in another segment, is about how to calibrate those. Now that we've seasoned the turkey, we've cooked it to make sure we have our internal temperature. Is there a certain temperature that we should cook it at?
I recommend, if you're baking, I recommend about 325 to 350.
Okay. And
you need to cook it a minimum of 20 minutes per pound.
Okay, sounds like a good deal to me. And Rose was so nice to actually have cooked us a turkey roll for us to see how it cuts. And you use the pecan rub on this one. And did you put put any juice or whatever on it also?
I did. I poured some apple juice over it.
Oh, okay.
Keep it moist, and then I seasoned it. And this particular bird cooked for about 3.5 hours.
Well, one of the things is in our schools we do have convection ovens, and convection ovens are more common in homes today. So that's one thing, is that it helps to cook the bird a little bit quicker, and also just you can control sometimes with the moisture and things like that in the cooking process.
It does. It cooks a lot more evenly also, because unlike your conventional ovens, your heat is just simply rising up from the bottom, whereas your convection oven, your air is circulating all the way around the meat, so the meat is able to cook more evenly.
Okay, well that sounds good. I know whenever you purchase a lot of meats in the store, they do have this netting and stuff, and it's just a matter of getting that netting off, because that would add a little bit fiber to the turkey if you forget that. And talking about taking the netting off, if you're doing a bone-in turkey, you need to make sure that you do take out the giblets and things like that before you actually cook it. And I'm sure there's many people that find those giblets all cooked in there. And another thing too is we don't generally recommend to stuff a turkey and cook it. We recommend that you actually make your stuffing on the side and then have it with the turkey. So, ooh, that looks delicious.
And you never smoke a turkey with stuffing in it.
Okay, that would just take too long to try, because it's just, what is the temperature usually for a smoking a turkey?
Your average smoker tends to range about 250 to 300 degrees. The secret to smoking is long and slow. That's what smoking means.
Long and slow.
So you never want to, you don't want to put something like stuffing in there that
you'll just grow bacteria, really good bacteria.
It would take way too long for it to reach that internal.
Now, have you ever used like liquid smoke? Is that something that you can use if you don't have a smoker at home to give you that smoked flavor?
Very definitely.
Okay.
Very definitely.
But that you have to be careful with, huh?
There are many liquid smokes. There again, if you have specialized diets, if you're watching things like your sodium, you need to make sure that you read the labels, because, and it does vary. Different ones have different sodium levels. There are some that are low sodium. You just have to take the time to look for them. But yes, and they are very tasty. They will put a pretty smoke ring on your meat so that it is attractive looking.
All right. Well, as Rose cuts up this turkey, oh my gosh, does that look delicious.
And you see the smoke.
Oh, yes.
This is something I wanted to point out also. When people prepare a turkey, whether it be baking, smoking, or frying, it is very, very important to allow the meat to rest. You noticed I pulled it out of the oven.
Yes, it's been out for a few minutes now.
It's sat down here. It requires resting because it allows the meat to seal so that your juices stay inside and don't ooze out.
It'll probably keep the food from breaking up, because if it's too hot, I know sometimes I've cut into stuff or casseroles and you get in there and all of a sudden it's just all over the place. But this looks beautiful. And you're a professional carver too, I see that.
Hardly.
So, well, that looks really good. Maybe you could put some on that plate and we could see. Oh, yum. I can't wait to have Thanksgiving. Can I go to your house for Thanksgiving and have some? Oh, you can see the juices coming out of there. That is just really good. Oh, yes. Very good. Okie dokie. Well, Rose, I just want to thank you for being with us today, and I'd like to thank everybody for watching our segment here on turkeys, and hopefully we can gobble it up. And I'd like to thank Rose from Forest Hill Elementary, and for you parents out there, I'd like to invite you to come and join your children to eat lunch with them. And remember, we don't just serve food, we serve education.